This is the full podcast with SNEAKO and Belal Muhammad. His name is Muhammad? Yes. Belal. Belal. Okay, let's see. Let's watch together, bro. You know, it will be fun.
Hey, Belal, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Nice to finally
Josh, you
talk. Long
betrayed me
time.
for the clicks and views.
Yeah, it's been a minute trying to get this connected.
Hey, everything's good. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Get it? I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. So you're training in Chicago right now, right?
Yeah. So my camp is usually in Chicago right now. I just finished for the day right now. So basically, I had like 3 sessions today.
You're not too wiped?
Oh yeah, man, I'm drained, but I can talk all day.
Oh, okay. Wait, tomorrow you're just gonna go right back to it. 3 sessions tomorrow.
Yeah, so every day's a little bit different. So like today was more heavy grappling based. Tomorrow sparring, but like every day it's just a change of practice. So like you'll have your Muay Thai days, your grappling days, because like MMA is so hard, right? Because you have to do so many different disciplines. So you're trying to figure out how to manage every single one of those disciplines and putting them all together.
So do you ever get bored? I wonder because like to compete at the top level, it's like all day on the mats, all day training, sparring, looking at like does it ever get repetitive? You've been doing it for so long.
I mean, it gets repetitive, but that's where it comes from. That's where me like getting to train with other guys is so good for you because it's like I see that with a lot of guys. They'll be at the same gym, they'll get bored of it, they'll get tired of it, and then they'll start to fall out of love with the sport. But for me, I travel a lot, and I'll get to work with some of the best guys in the world. And I was just with Habib and Islam and them a couple weeks ago. So me training with those guys, getting different looks from those guys, it like rejuvenates you, and it just like hypes you up again because you know going with new guys, it like gives you those same nerves of kind of like a fight where you're going with the same guys every day at practice. Your friend, your boys every day. You get to read this, what they're doing, what they're gonna do to you, how they're gonna take you down, how they're gonna swing at you. But when you go with new guys, new looks, it like gives you that same feel of like your first fight or like your first grappling match.
Yeah, how did that happen? I saw that you've been training with the Dagestan guys. How did that come about? I mean, it's been a couple of years, but it seems like they because is this special because you have the title fight coming up?
No, I mean I got connected with them probably like 5 years ago where I started working with them, and then I did like a full camp with them when I fought Sean Brady in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
and like honestly, that was like the best time of my life. Not even just training wise, but just like when you're hanging out with them and you're hanging out with being Muslim, hanging out with those guys, they like level you up spiritually because they're all the same. They're all doing the exact same stuff as you. You all believe the same exact thing. So we're going from training to praying to eating together. And honestly, it was like you just had a sense of calmness when you're with them. And then they're all like brothers, right? They all have the same mentality and they all want the best for you and they all want to help you. And they're all so good. So just to be able to learn from them guys and get beat up from them guys and knowing that they have, they want to see me win. And I may not have grown up with them or always Dagestani like them, but like we're Muslim brothers and like they had that same feeling towards you. And they have a small group. So for me to be able to be a part of that small group is priceless.
Yeah. Do you think that they like invite you into the circle because you're Palestinian, because you're Muslim? How does that work?
I think it's Muslim, and then it's like once they meet you, then they know that you're about the hard work, right? Because there's a lot of guys that they want to train with Habib and Islam, and then they'll get that one picture, and then they'll be done, and they will never come back. They'll just be like, "Oh, I got to train with them," because they kill you. It's not an easy practice. It's not like a practice just for clicks, right? You're gonna go in there, you're gonna feel it, and then the next day you have to do it again. You have to do it again, and I think like I earned their respect by coming back for more every single time, and there was no like quitting me at all. And the sessions we had in Abu Dhabi were like the hardest practices I've ever had in my life, and then they continue to push you after that same practice. So we'll go through the practice. You're like, we just sparred 5 rounds. Then he wants to grapple 5 rounds. And then Habib will call me in the cage and be like, all right, now come with me now. And I'm looking at my coach and we're looking at each other like, bro, I'm like dead. And then Islam will look at me as we're like doing planks or something. He's like, this guy's crazy, man. This guy's crazy. And we're all doing the same exact thing, right? But like, we all have the same mission. But I think it was just more so out of respect and then knowing that I had the same mindset as them. I'm not gonna quit. There's no give up in me at all, and like I'm just trying to get better. And I think that they do that. They respected that, and I think from there on, our relationship just built.
Yeah, one thing that everybody has to recognize is that with the Dagestani guys, the discipline they have is like incomparable to anything in any other fight camp. But what do you think? Do you think it's is it something about that area of the world? Is it the Muslim Brotherhood? Is it just their specific discipline? How do you think that the discipline is so strong with them?
I mean, I think just you're born into it, right? Just because being Muslim in general, you're born in with the discipline where you have to pray 5 times a day. You can't do this. You have to stay away from that. And a lot of the stuff that we're supposed to be staying away from, it's perfect for an athlete. Like you shouldn't be drinking, you shouldn't be eating this or doing that, or staying out at night, going to clubs. So they already had that instilled in them. But also, they've been training since they were kids. They've been doing this since they were, 3 or 4 years old. Habib's dad, Ali Muhammad, was the one that was his coach. He brought him up, and then Islam trained with them guys. So all these guys, they trained since they were young kids, and now they're bringing out the younger generation. Like they have so many guys on their team that are 19, 20 years old that's freaking killing me on the mats, and I'm like, bro, I'm about to fight for the title. I'm getting beat up by this guy, and people don't even know what his name is. But like he has the same type of strength as Habib, same type of strength as Islam, and I think it's just like high tides raise all ships. So all of them together in that one room, they're all in that training. So you have to get better. You have to get good. You're not going to be in that room and be weak. So I think that's why a lot of them are so good, and also just like mentality, right? Habib doesn't let you be soft. We were in Dubai, and a couple guys will show up late to practice, and he'll like take their phone from him because he's like, you guys are obviously staying up too late. So I'm taking your phone until tomorrow. You're not going to get your phone until tomorrow morning. And it just like, he puts you in your place. And no matter who you are, even for himself, he shows up to practice on time. He's doing all the exact same things. It's not like he's taking any days off. He's showing videos of himself running every night. And he tells you guys, you should be running every night, no matter what. Even if you're on how much he travels, he still figures out a way to train and stuff like that. And he's still in amazing shape. Training with him a couple weeks ago, just killing me. And I'm like, bro, is this guy gonna get out of shape? But like Islam's like, bro, he's always training. He's always in the room.
You think there's any possibility that Habib returns? He's still only 35.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's gonna return. I'm glad that he's returning to coaching and being in the corner again. But I don't think he's gonna return to fighting. I mean, he made that promise to his mom. I think that's more than him than anything, because I'm sure the UFC probably offered him millions and millions of dollars, and he makes so much money outside of the UFC. Like he's a smart businessman. He has so many things going on. It's crazy how much traveling this guy does, and I know that he showed me he has coffee shops in Dagestan and just like little businesses. He's got a really strong business mindset. When I was in Cali with him, he was just like, he'll tell me like the stats for like Starbucks. Like, Starbucks makes this much money a year, and this, and this. And yeah, I think that he's starting to instill that mindset in all the other guys too. It's like a lot of fighters, your window's so small. Yeah. So you have to figure out what's next, and you have to be smart with your money. And I think that's why a lot of these guys, they don't have to fight. They can do something else. They can do this right afterward. And that's why Habib was able to retire undefeated. He wasn't thirsty to fight. He didn't need to keep going, because he's comfortable.
What about for you? This seems like it's the biggest fight of your career, and inshallah you become the champion real soon. Do you think that that's the crux of your career?
Yeah, inshallah we get this win. Like obviously this is what I've been working for. Like I started late. I started at 23 years old. Like I wasn't born into martial arts or training like that. I had like 2 years of high school wrestling. But I'm from Chicago, so like I had like street fighting skills, and I would play ball all the time and get in fights all the time. But like I never thought I would be like a professional athlete. But once I started later, the wins started coming. Getting into the UFC. I lost 2 of my first 3 fights, and you're like, man, it's gonna be a quick in and out, like a lot of these guys happen. But just like for myself, I never wanted to be one of those guys. I never wanted to be one of those stories, because I had so many people tell me that I couldn't do it or I wouldn't make it. So I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, finding the right coaches, finding the right teams, finding the right training partners. Like I work probably harder than like when people ask me what my training schedule is or what I do, like they'll be like, "Bro, you're overworking," and I still think I'm underworking, because I think I'm already behind all these guys that started since they were kids. So like I got to where I am today by outworking everybody, and yeah, on July 27th. That's my moment, right? That's my moment to shut up all the doubters, shut up all the haters. For the people that don't believe in me, still don't believe in me, after every one of my wins, there's an excuse and there's a reason why I won, or like he won because of this, he won because of that. But if I had the gold around my waist, then there's nothing else that matters. Like my goal is to get the gold. So
Yeah,
all that other
I'm really
noise doesn't
looking
matter.
forward to that. You've always been one of my favorite fighters. How you're able to transition and the ground game and the standing game, and so whatever. Like, I mean, obviously, you see the reception from some people that they boo when you put it on the screen. It's more like a meme because I don't see any like actual justification for that. And maybe it's not because you're like the loud trash talking like Conor McGregor type that they're not able to relate to you, but when you win, inshallah, it's like for them to finally not have anything else to say is it's gonna be funny. I think to finally get them to shut up.
Yeah, I mean, we live in an age of mob mentality, right? Where he's booing, let me boo. Like went to I was in London like 3 years ago for like a Q&A, and it was for a different fight, but like the crowd was booing, and then I met this old lady came to the hotel and she wanted a picture, and it just stuck with me because she talked to me for a little bit. I gave her a picture and she was like, "You're so nice. I don't know why I was booing you." I was like, "Why were you booing me?" She said, "I don't know. The crowd was just booing, so I just assumed that I should boo." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. It's cool." But she's like, "Yeah, you're the nicest kid." But like when people meet me in person, there's not no booing. Like we live in the trolling age, right? On Twitter, where people don't have faces, they're faceless, so they think they can say whatever they want and post whatever they want. But in person, that's when you see the real side of people. Like if I'm standing in front of you, you're not gonna disrespect me. If I'm standing in front of you, you're not gonna say this or that. And we live in that day and age where guys like Sean Strickland are so popular because he says the dumbest stuff. Because people want that viral moment of him saying something stupid and idiotic.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Sean.
the stuff that he's saying that's like resonating with the people, it's like it's so surface level stuff. Like it used to be edgy maybe 20 years ago. Like gay people are brainwashed. Like whoa, like genius take. Like is anyone really that surprised? He's like talking about being a patriot, but then he's always like pro Israel and this stuff. It's like well, if you're gonna be a patriot and you want to put America first, then you should be on the side of the Palestinians. Right? We should not want to keep on supporting and sending billions of dollars to Israel nonstop. I want to see more people speak about that. But yeah, I am looking forward to this. Well, what would you think is like? How would you describe the discipline aspect? Because if you're praying 5 times a day and you're training 3 times a day, you have to make wudu and you have to be in and out of the masjid all the time. Are you praying in the gym? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, like for us, for being Muslim, the world is your masjid, right? Whenever the clock strikes, then you have to go. That's your time to God, and that's for myself is having that discipline of like, all right, well, if I'm in the gym, then I have to go pray right now. If I'm on the road, wherever I'm at, if I have to go somewhere else, I got to pray on the street before we have to go. Wherever you are, you just have to be ready to go. And luckily, a lot of the places that I'm training at or working out at have showers and stuff, so you're showering right after each workout session, and then you're getting it in. But yeah, it just for myself, it's praying 5 times a day. It's not like work, right? It's like meditation for you. It's clearing your mind of all the stresses of your daily life, and you owe that time to God, and that's all that matters in that one moment. Like you're not thinking about training. You're not thinking about the fight. You're not thinking about that. It's purifying, honestly, when you're doing it.
Do you have to go in and out? Like if you have to hit Doher and Asr, so it's like training session, shower. Do you have to? I'm just wondering how that was because I was training with some Muslim brothers in the UK during Ramadan, and like we would have to because you have to cover your knees, right? You have to get into
Yeah.
the mode of prayer and make wudu. Is that difficult, or do you think like for the young Muslim fighter, it's not it's not that much of a process?
No, it's not that much of a process. Wherever you are, if you just got to make sure you have the right clothes with you at all points, right, in all times. And like I said, if I'm in the gym and I have to pray in the gym, that's where I'm praying at. If I'm going for a jog or running or anything like that, then you're praying on the street. That's more purifying than anything. And it's so many people nowadays they delay it and they wait and they be like, oh well, I can do it later or I can do it later. But you never know when your time is up, right? You never a blink of an eye, you could die, you could pass away, and
Yeah.
you see those videos of people like where they look at their death and they're like, oh wait, send me back, let me go. I'll pray 5 times a day if you give me another chance at life. Please God, do this. And you see those videos and it hits you too because you realize that like, this is your moment. Like there's not gonna be a second chance at trying to please God. You have to do that right now. No, nothing else should matter. You shouldn't be like, oh, let me wait for this show to finish. Let me eat my food real quick. Then I'll go pray. It's like, no, God bless you with all those things, right? God bless you with food. God bless you with a job. God bless you with this. So you owe it to God to pray at the right time. When it's time to go, you should be praying. Nothing else should be mattering at that one time.
So what is the hierarchy for you? It comes Islam first, and then your fighting career, and then what's Belal Muhammad's hierarchy of needs?
Oh yeah, I mean it's Islam first, then family, making sure my family's good, and then martial arts. Like I don't really do much else besides train. Like I'm watching tapes, training. Like the UFC would ask me, hey, do you do anything, other hobbies? And I'm like, there's no other hobbies. it's this. This is all I'm doing. I'm working toward it every single day. Like I said, I always tell myself that you're behind. You're already behind. Like you're not. If you start getting to the point of getting comfortable and be like, all right, I'm good enough, then that's when these guys are going to pass you up. That's when you're going to end up losing that fight in that moment. And like I've worked too hard to get here to be lazy now. I worked too hard to get here now to like take my foot off the gas. Like I still have to stay on at all points and stay full focus no matter what.
Do you think, or do you ever wonder if you should try to be more provocative to get like the average drunk UFC fan to be on your side? Or does any of that stuff faze you? Do you think that you should have more hobbies or like try to become more interesting and provocative? Or is it just like, I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to learn the art of martial arts and stick to my religion?
I mean, I think for nowadays, for myself, it's like, I don't want to be fake because there's a lot of fake guys out here. They try too hard and people read the fakeness from you. And like I said, being religious and being Muslim, I'm not going to go that route of being crazy because I've seen guys that are Muslim and disciplined and they've been the biggest superstar in the world, and Habib. And like that's a guy that I look up to, and that's a career that I would want. So, and like I said, winning solves everything, right? Once you have the belt, then they're going to have to watch you. Once you have the belt, then UFC is going to push their full force behind you. I think I'm interesting. If you give me if I can have a conversation with you,
yeah,
people will sit there and be like, oh man, dude, bro, you're not this, you're not that. Like you are interesting, but people just got to get to know you. And I think the UFC, once you're a champion, then they have to put their full media behind you. And I think that they're going to realize like, all right, we could work with this guy. We could push this guy. This guy, we don't have to push an idiot like Strickland or somebody dumb like that. Like Muslim Islam. Now they're posting about, Ramadan after Khabib there, right? Like the UFC never really posted anything, but now they're posting like Happy Eid. And people started wanting to learn more about Islam because of guys like that, because they see it right there. And if Khabib's on the mic and he's saying, listen to your parents and listen to your mother, right? He's saying that type of stuff. He's not saying, oh, after party at this club or that club, right? And the stuff they're posting all the time. There's like, I'd rather be that guy that somebody could look up to and be like, my kids are looking up to you and they're proud of you and they want to be like you instead of, proper 12.
I think that's a good analogy. That makes sense. I don't think it's a lack of being interesting. It's just a lack of relatability. If we're going to be real, like the average UFC fan, and there's so many, but I would say like the core audience is like a white drunk guy. Like that's the image, like a guy in a sports bar, he's slamming beers and he wants to see Conor McGregor get like a knockout punch. And so they're able to relate to a Strickland because he's like them, like, oh, fucking, you sir, stupid. Like they can understand that. And if you look back at Habib's career, he's like obviously one of the most respected now, but at the time he was getting booed just like you are. He was getting on stage saying Alhamdulillah. They're all booing him. Whenever he would go to the ground, they would start booing him because they would think it's boring. But now you can study these fights and be like, these are some of the most technically interesting fights in UFC history. It's just a lack of understanding and relatability. And I didn't understand that until I seen like back and forth even like some of the stuff that Strickland's been saying about Islam and about Palestine, and the fact he's telling you like, oh, go fight for Palestine. That logic is so stupid. One, because you're not fighting for America, and two, if you're going to tell Belal Muhammad to go fight for Palestine, then you should go fight for Israel.
And literally, when people say that, and when he says that, I want to be like, you want to just slap somebody like that because he's looking for that clout, right? He's looking like when he initially commented on one of my posts, it came out of nowhere, and I was like, why is this dork trying to comment? Because he wants those clicks. He needs those clicks. And I know he tries to play the role of like, I'm this tough guy. I'm not afraid of nothing. But then he goes and cries on a Theo Von podcast, right? Because it just shows you how fake he is, because he does have that emotional side to him. So he's waiting to see, all right, is this the right thing to post right now? Because people are like this. Oh, I'm in Canada right now. They hate Trudeau. Let me talk bad about Trudeau. Let me do this. And then he wants to bring up Palestine. Yeah, go fight for Palestine. You moron. Like, your tax dollars are going to Israel, you idiot. Like, they're killing women and children. You don't even have to be Palestinian to want this to end. This is a genocide. Like, these people are dying every single day. There's videos that you're seeing every single day, and like, I hate to even post it because I don't like to see kids dying. I don't like to see kids posting videos, but that's the only way to get people to talk about and say anything about it. And if he could watch those videos and see that and still have that same stupid mentality, then he's just dead in the heart. But he's born to inbred parents, and he's a moron that was raised like an idiot. So that's why he says idiotic stuff. And when you think back to, bro, you're crying because your dad hit you. These kids are dying every single day, and they don't know if they're going to be alive tomorrow. When, you know, a normal childhood should be, kids should be like, oh, I don't want to eat vegetables. I don't want to eat, you know, fruit. Get that away from me. But these kids are waking up every day like, where's my next meal coming from? They're starving. They're dying. They're like, they lost their parents. They're losing limbs out there. And if you could sit there and be soulless and heartless and, you know, disrespect those kids, like, you're just a piece of trash.
It's just a lack of understanding. If a guy like him could understand that you can't say you're America first and then also have an allegiance to Israel, if they would understand that all the politicians are controlled and that our tax dollars go directly to fund this genocide, then they would see that the America first position is being pro-Palestine. But they just don't get that, because they think, they see Palestine, they think Islam, they think la 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 la, they think like brown terrorists. They like, it's all the 9/11 programming. But as soon as people like that understand how they're being controlled, then so many people are gonna change their major positions. But it makes me wonder, like, why do you think they resisted to give you the title fight for so long? If you look at, I mean, guys like him, they got the title fight, like, and some people argue that they got in, they didn't really deserve to. That's not my position to say whether or not that's true. And but you've probably deserved the title shot for over 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I deserved a title shot for a while, right? And like I said, for myself, you look at it, you get paranoid. Obviously, you go this or that or this or that. But then I always go back to being Muslim and trusting God and understanding that God has a plan for you and it's a reason for everything. Like, there's guys that come into the UFC and they get skyrocketed right away and they bump right away. And like I said, I think it's the UFC obviously looking at it like, all right, let's see what works for the brand. Let's see what we could push right now. But I think if they sat there and they pushed me and they got behind me, they would understand that, we have a star here. We could have pushed this guy 3 years ago. And I think that once I had the belt and I beat Leon Edwards, they're going to be like, oh, okay, we had this the whole time. We should have gave him this title fight 5 years ago. He should have fought Usman before Leon. Like, there's not a guy that's ever had the road that I had to go through. I've had to beat 5 top 10 guys in the UFC to get the shot. Like you said, Strickland got the title fight off of, he was 2-2 and he had 2 losses and he won 2, but it was the timing for that one as well, right? Because they wanted Adesanya to fight Duplessis. Duplessis got hurt, and Adesanya, being the champion he is, he said, give me the next guy up. Leon's not that type of guy. Leon wants to stay in hiding. He fights once a year. He doesn't know how to promote himself. He doesn't know how to push himself. So he sits there and he looks and he's like, let me fight a guy that can promote the fight for me. So let me get Kobe instead of Belal because it's the easier fight. And I think people are going to, like you said, the fans that we have now are like, oh, Kobe's going to talk trash. Let's see what he says about Leon. Let's push that fight instead.
Yeah, but is that integrity when it comes to, I understand running a promotion, but the fact that they give fights to people that are going to sell it and put on a show more than the people that actually deserve it. In any other sport, you're not going to be able to, like, Real Madrid's not going to play Barcelona in the final because they're going to sell tickets. They do it because they earn their right to get to that final. As a fighter and it's somebody in that position, do you think that there's a lack of integrity there, or do you think it's fair and it's a different sport, so this is how you have to sell fights?
No, I mean, I don't think it's definitely fair. I think we want to look at ourselves as a real sport, right? We want to look at ourselves as, NBA, NFL. We want to be on that level where we start getting paychecks like that. So we do have to have that type of, you know, level with the matchmaking. It's like, how many ranked guys you have to fight before you get a title fight? It's like, no, you need one more. You need this. You need that. Like, this isn't WWE. This isn't fake wrestling. And, you know, I know the UFC always said that we don't tell our guys to get outlandish and say dumb stuff or do dumb stuff. But when it's dumb guys getting the big opportunities, it's like, well, obviously there is a reason for it. So then you tell yourself, like, you know, I'm going to start pushing my brand more, try to do more on social media, go to all the pay-per-views, get interact with the fans more. So you just got to start building your brand early, I think. And I think that's what a lot of these younger fighters need to start doing. You got to get on social media. There's nothing else that matters, especially because we fight one week and then the next week there's another fight. So that last week, people already forgot about it. So the only way to get it, stay in people's heads is to say dumb stuff in interviews or get on social media and have a big following.
It seems like you've learned a lot about the business game, and you're seeing about how to invest properly outside of it. And you've probably seen fighters get caught in the trap where they only need to fight for money. What is your biggest venture, not hobby, but your biggest venture outside of fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I think for myself, being Arab and being from Chicago, like all my cousins, all my family, they all own their own businesses. My sister has her own pharmacy. And it was like, that was always the mindset growing up, is like, I think I have probably like at least 15 cousins that own cell phone stores. So we would go to high school, then you wouldn't go to college, you would get your own store. You would open your own business. It's easy, right? Because we all had that entrepreneur gene inside of us. But for myself, I was like, you know, I want to go to college. I don't want to just skip it and go straight to what's called. So I went to college. And then while I was in college, I was like, my mindset was I want to do something that I can make money in. So I was like, I want to go to school for law. So I want to be a lawyer. And I wanted to do that. Then I ended up getting into fighting. But now I'm, you know, alhamdulillah, I'm making good money where I could invest in businesses and do my own thing. And I have 3 brothers that were looking at other ventures and things to open up, because my dad had his own business. Like you said, the 9/11 mindset. Like he worked for the city of Chicago and he got fired after 9/11 because he was Arab, and, you know, they were making random cuts. So after that, he's like, I'm opening my own business and I'm not going to work for nobody again, so they can control my life. And I'm going to do my own thing. And he opened up a cell phone store that, you know, fed my family for 15 years. And, you know, he had no electronic background or anything like that. Like he worked for the city his whole life and got fired, you know, 2 years before his pension.
And I got to give a credit, thinking, hearing you tell the story about the perception of Islam and Muslims, because obviously I'm a revert. I reverted last year. And you've probably seen the shift, like growing up as a Muslim in Chicago. You probably saw I'm noticing now, like getting in the airport, getting randomly searched, like wearing a thobe. That's stuff that I never experienced before. You've seen that terrorist perception and those stereotypes being attributed to your people for your whole life. And I would probably say, like, a big reason that there's a cultural shift, I don't know if you notice it, is probably due to Habib Islam and guys like yourself representing Islam in a positive way, because that's how a lot of guys in the West are going to be able to understand. Habib has that quote saying that non-Muslims don't read Quran, they don't read Hadith, they read the Muslims, to be the best representative that you possibly could be. And guys like yourself are representing and showing the ideas about brotherhood and discipline and changing that perception really quickly. Do you think that is, have you noticed that shift?
Yeah, 100%. It's like you said, growing up, it's like, what was every movie? Like any war movie, the bad guys were always the Arabs. The bad guys were always Arabs. So then 9/11 happens, and it's like, these guys are the bad guys. These guys are evil. These guys are evil. And then you see like the Muslim attacks, and my mom wears a hijab, and you get worried for her to get attacked or anything like that to happen, because people are clueless. They don't understand what the religion is. But now that you have guys like us, we're blessed with this platform, right? To show you the true side of Islam and to show that it's peace. It's not anger. It doesn't mean this. Like Allahu Akbar doesn't mean something bad's about to happen. It means God is great. And Alhamdulillah doesn't mean something's bad's about to happen. It means thanking God. And people now that, you know, even like teammates that I know, friends that I've had, like I live with Jared Gordon, who's in the UFC, and he's Jewish. And we lived in an apartment in Wisconsin for 3 years. And he got more religious himself, not to be a Muslim, but just seeing me pray every single day. So for him, it got him, you know, I want to be more religious too. So it just got him more connected with God, just seeing how I'm living my lifestyle. And my coach, Lewis Taylor, he's been with me since high school, and he ended up reverting to Islam, and his whole family's are Christian, so
Allahu
he never
Akbar.
knew about it. But him just being with me this whole time, it just got him like, I'm hanging out with all these Muslims now. Like, I'm loving what they're doing. I love their personality. I love the way they're doing. Like, now I'm learning more about God, and it's helping me more. So, all right, I think that I found my way.
I got there's one question that someone's asking. I could ask. Yeah, do you have pressure to be the first Palestinian UFC champion? Does any of that weigh upon you, especially like right now? The fact that you get this title fight after what's going on, do you notice a different sense of pressure, or is it's more of a personal victory, inshallah?
I mean, inshallah, but I put my pressure on myself, right? I'm fighting for something bigger, but I'm also fighting for my family, for my people, for the people that doubt me. But like, especially now, obviously, it is for Palestine. It is for them to have a win, right? Like their perseverance, their the way that they're fighting right now, the way that every single day they're still waking up, thankful for God for giving another life. It just makes me more grateful every day that I get to wake up and get to train every day. I get to wake up and you know I'm blessed to eat whatever I can eat every day. So every single day I'm donating to them no matter what. And I'm also donating to them with cash and also donating to them with my work. Like when I'm in the gym, I'm not slacking at all because, like I said, I know I'm fighting for something bigger. I know that me winning this fight isn't just about me winning for me. It's me winning for them and for them to have locked in history that they have a Palestinian champion, locked in history that their flag is going to be connected to a world championship in the UFC. And there's nobody that could erase that. There's nothing that could erase that. And people always ask me why, but you're from Chicago, you're this, you're that, and it's like, no, like they don't have nobody talking for them. They don't have nobody speaking for them. And I've been a voice for them since I've been in the UFC. I've been a voice for them since I got here. And me getting messages from Palestinian children when I first got into the UFC, I was like, wait, dang, they're watching me and they're paying attention to me. And being able to see videos that I get from family out there that they're cheering whenever I win, it's heartwarming because I know that me winning is going to mean so much to them, and it's going to be bigger than that. We just had my sister works for PCRF, it's a Palestinian charity, and she brought a family here from Gaza to do a medical procedure. A 2-year-old got his kneecap blown off, and his dad
Oh
and him
my
came over here, and their
Lord.
mom died in the bombing, and the dad was like so nervous to ask me for a picture, and I was like, "What?" And I was just like, "Bro, let me get a picture with you. You're like the real hero, right? You're fighting the real fight. Like my fight is nothing." But like the fact that they were see me as like a role model. He's like, "I want my son to be like you." It's just like makes you want to cry.
What's one thing that you think that the average UFC or MMA fan doesn't understand or know about you?
I don't think they understand like how hard I work at this. Like when you see me in person, you're like, man, you're not as big as you look, or you're not as this or as that. And it's like I literally, I mean, I overworked to get to where I am today, and I wasn't supposed to be here. Like I'm not supposed to be fighting for the title. When you're looking at, dang, you started that late. You don't have this background behind you. You don't have this, this money behind you to help you and your team and push you like that. It's like we're a small group in Chicago. We're a small team in Chicago. And I've been with the same guys I've been with for the last 10, 15 years. And, you know, we weren't blessed with the biggest gyms or the biggest equipment, best equipment around us. Like we're like a Rocky gym. We're a small gym and we're a small family. And our biggest thing is just hard work and pushing. And for myself is mentality. And I think that if people realize and they see how hard I work every day, they'll respect it.
What about your reactions to the recent fights? Like obviously your friend Islam he just defended the belt again for his second defense, his third defense?
Third defense, I think.
Third defense.
Yeah.
What was your take on the last card?
I mean, that was a great fight. It was a great card. I think, like Habib said it best, right? When you go through a war like that, it levels you up because people look at Islam and they think that they think he's just a wrestler. But when he goes out there and knocks out Volkanovski and he stands toe-to-toe with Dustin Poirier, you realize, wait, he could box and he could strike. And, his grappling is another level. Like right after he tapped out Dustin Poirier, me and my boy Nacho, we like both texted each other like, "See, we're not the only ones that tap out to that." Like he catches me in that darts choke, freaking like every single time I roll with him. He's just so strong there, and yeah, we both like texted each other at the exact same time. But like it just showed you how good he is, and I think he's definitely the pound for pound guy in the UFC right now, skill for skill. He's so good. But the other fights were pretty good. I'm excited for like the upcoming cards coming up. Obviously, people are just gonna wait and see what happens with McGregor and Chandler, if that fight's actually gonna happen or if it's not gonna happen. But I'm a fan first. Like when I literally have a video on my phone. When you get those Facebook memories where 15 years ago was my first UFC event. We went to go watch it, and we snuck down at the MGM Grand inside the cage, and I was sitting there in the cage, and I wasn't even an amateur fighter yet. But I was just like shadow boxing in there, and then like we were afraid because we were about to get kicked out. But we had that video, but it just like sticks with me now because it's like we've come a long way.
Yeah, I didn't even know that you started at 23 years old. I'm 25, about to be 26. You think that the young guy, like there's I have a young audience. You recommend that if these people have MMA dreams that they pursue it like you did at that age, or is it is there too much of an uphill battle?
No, 100%. I mean, if you have the heart and you have the drive, right? Because this game it's ruthless. There's no money in it at the beginning. There's nothing in it. So it's all about how bad do you want it? Because you're going to be working, you're going to be fighting every single day in the gym to try to get better. And then once you actually get your first amateur fight or pro fight, like you're going to be making pennies. Like I was telling my parents, they were asking me how much I'm getting paid. I was acting like I was getting paid $5,000-$10,000, but I was getting paid $250 for my first 5 or 6 fights. Like there was no money in it at all. But I was like, all right, if I lose, then I'll stop. Once I lose, then I'll stop. And we just kept winning. We just kept winning. But you just have to have the right team around you, the right coaches around you, because like my brother, I train my brothers and stuff, and they like I have them spar with each other. My brother like tore his bicep just sparring with my younger brother, and we were just playing around. But he tore his bicep because you can get injured here. You can get a broken jaw, you get a torn bicep, torn ACL. You just have to be willing to pay the price, and you have to be fully committed. You can't be halfway in if you really want to do it. And yeah, I think the keys are just finding that right environment to be around that's going to help you grow and get better, and just be ready to do all the work.
So, do you have a specific game plan against Leon Edwards that we don't already know yet? I've seen some, I don't know if criticism, but I saw Gilbert was saying like it seems like he thought that the decision was unfair, and some people. Do you have what are your predictions for the fight against Leon, or how do you think it's going to be any different from previous fights?
I mean, honestly, I think I go in there and I knock him out. When I look at my last matchups, my stylistic matchups, I fought the best striker in the UFC in Wonderboy. I fought the best grappler in the UFC in Damian Maia. I fought, great finishers in Vicente Luque. I fought Gilbert Burns on 3 weeks' notice. And I think all those fights, they added up to this one fight. Like I said, God's plan, right? Where he wanted me to fight the striker. He wanted me to fight the grappler. He wanted me to fight the well-rounded guy. He wanted me to fight the undefeated guy in Sean Brady. And all those things, they just leveled me up. And I think right now, the version of myself, the best version of myself. And I think that Leon's going to get in there. Him and his team, they're in Manchester. They're going to be surprised. They're going to be in for a rude awakening. And people will say whatever they want to say. But my last full camp, I knocked out Sean Brady. The Gilbert Burns fight was a 3 week notice fight. So we're going off my last full camp, and it was a knockout. This fight, I'm going to knock out Leon Edwards. We've been training for this guy for 2 years.
Yeah, you've definitely prepared, and you know exactly what. And also, I don't think I've ever seen you this disciplined before a fight. Like you seem 100% ready. There doesn't seem like there's any. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of apprehension. It seems like you have full confidence going forward. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. Right. The biggest key was getting the fight. Now that we got the fight, now it's over. Now he made the mistake. Right. His biggest mistake was saying yes to the fight. Like you already made me mad, but now you said yes. Now it's over. Now there's a contract. Now I ain't got to do nothing else. Now I got to do nothing else to try to pressure you or talk trash to you to get this fight. It's already done. Now it's over for you.
What are your predictions for? I'm wondering what guys like you think about, like the influencer stuff. Like when guys like me get in and fight Strickland and for on the stream, or Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson. Well, do you think that disrespects the art and the discipline that you put in and day out?
No, right? Because it brings views to the sport, right? To the sport of boxing. Jake Paul, like you could tell he puts the work in. For yourself, you stood toe to toe with him, right? He was trying to knock you out, and you took his best shots. And like I said, I told you not to do it because the guy's a moron, and I knew that he wasn't going to give you those looks like a Marab or Aljo where they understand that you're just starting out, or like even like Jake Shields where he rolls with you and you want to teach somebody. Like Sean was going in there to try to hurt you, and you still stood up. You didn't fold, and you didn't back down until Forrest Griffin stepped in there. So I think that you got to respect that. If anybody's willing to get in the cage or willing to get in the ring and throw it on, I respect it no matter what. And I used to be a trainer at UFC gym, and I know how hard it is for just normal people to go in there, and it takes a lot of guts to go in there, especially for you to go in there with at the time, what was he, the 85 champion. So it's like the fact that you did it just shows that you're man enough to do it. And I think that especially with these influencers now that are taking it serious and really trying to get better at it, it's only going to bring views to boxing. And I don't think the Mike Tyson one's actually going to happen. I think they just announced like Jake Paul and Mike Perry right now.
Oh, Mike Tyson backed out completely?
I think so. I think that I just saw Perry and Jake Paul just got pushed or announced, but I think Mike Tyson, he's 60 years old. He has medical problems. I was like, you got to be careful.
Yeah, that one's a little bit ridiculous. So if that did happen, who do you think wins?
I mean, I'm going with age no matter what. Because even with the Mike Tyson when he just fought, right? He looked old, and I know that he's posting videos of himself killing the pads and stuff like that. But I'm like, bro, pads don't hit back, and you're gonna fight this younger kid who's got knockout power, right? And he's been in the ring. It's like I love Mike Tyson. I just don't want him to freaking fight a young kid.
And it's highly edited. Every video that you see, it's like he's hitting the pads, but there's literally a jump cut every 0.2 seconds between the punches. It's like, what was happening between those edits?
Yeah, I tell people that all the time, right? I was like, bro, when people post their pad sessions, post a real session. Like Ronda Rousey used to look like she was the best boxer in the world on her pads, but then she would get in a fight and her hands were awful. And I tell people that. I'm like, don't look at the pads thinking that, man, that's a great time. Because like even myself, I'll sit there and let me post the perfect spot for me hitting this combo, right? And you learn the combo and you push the combo, but it's like, let me see the sparring video. Let me see the real fight videos.
Yeah, anybody can look it on the pads. It's pretty, and all the trainers know how to do it, especially with social media. They'll like train specifically for you to get a combo so that when you post it, you look really good. But yeah, I almost sometimes I forget that you were there when I fought Strickland. What are your what do you think I should work on the most? Like, where do you think is the angle? Obviously, I'm a brand new beginner, but what should I do, or what would you tell guys on my level to train the most and to focus on?
I mean, I would say find a gym where you're going to have guys that are really going to want to teach you, right? Where if I'm sparring, you can spar light 20, 30% at most. So you get comfortable looking at punches, seeing punches. Like I said, I train my brothers and cousins all the time. I would do like a night class with them guys, and I would let them spar each other, but I would like, all right, we're going light. Or I would spar with them, and I would like, all right, hit me, throw punches at me, or I'll go hard to their body, just so they understand it and feel it, and they know. But your biggest things, I think, are just obviously work on defense, work on footwork, and I think fundamentals is key to anybody starting out. People look at shadow boxing, and they don't really understand what shadow boxing is. Shadow boxing is to help you with the discipline of your footwork, discipline of putting your hand out there and bringing it right back to your chin. And I think even with pro fighters, a lot of these guys don't even really know how to shadow box. But at my gym, we do all the little fundamental stuff. And it's like the tedious work where you get bored of it or tired of it. But that's the stuff that's going to pay dividends inside of the fight.
Yeah, I think one trainer told me, I don't know if this is true, but it's like, if you're only 20% or 10% of your punches land in a fight, then the other 70, 80%, you're shadow boxing. You know, the other 90% you're shadow boxing. So you should train on that the most because that's the majority of your punches are going to be shadow boxing.
Yeah, 100%. Like a lot of these guys, they can't shadow box for 5 minutes straight, or they can't throw punches on a heavy bag for 5 minutes straight. They'll get gassed out or tired of it. And that's where guys get most tired, when they throw a big punch and they miss, right? Like you want to see these guys miss, like the Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, right? Let him hit me again. I'm defending, blocking everything, but this guy's getting tired. This guy's breaking. This guy's folding because he's missing big whiffs, throwing punches that are hitting my elbows. And like that's where you get all that energy from, is from shadow boxing, that conditioning from shadow boxing. And I think that's like a lost art of the sport.
Would you fight another Muslim? People are begging me to ask if you're going to fight Shavkat, or I've heard you say that before. Like if Islam went up to welterweight, like that you wouldn't fight him. What's your thoughts on fighting fellow Muslims?
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to fight fellow Muslims. I would definitely wouldn't fight Islam because it's like right now that's my brother. I would never want to fight him, and I would never fight him. But early on, I think me and Hamzat were at a point where we were close to fighting a lot of times. We were talking trash back and forth, and I was just like, we're both hungry for the same thing, right? We were both fighting we both want the gold, and when you're at that level now where it's just a sport. So I don't have to hate you to fight you. A lot of the guys that I fought, I respect it. So if I do end up fighting Shavkat or any of these guys, it's going to be respect. But like we're both wanting to fight the same thing, fight for the same thing. But I'm not going to talk trash. I'm not going to disrespect another Muslim, or get to that level of having to sell a fight with that. Right? I think he's a monster. He's a beast. So I want to fight you and beat you to see how good I am.
So if it happens, then it happens. This is just a sport.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, especially right now at the top of the division, it's basically going to be him fighting the winner of this fight. So it's for me beating Leon. I know that he's next, and like I said, for my legacy now, what I want to leave the people with and the fans with is to say that I fought all the toughest guys and I beat all the toughest guys when they were at their highest level. A lot of the guys I fought were on winning streaks when I beat them.
Yeah.
They were off wins. They weren't off losses. And I want to have that resume where people look at it and be like, he's up there with the George St. Pierre. He's even getting better above him. Like he fought this guy that was undefeated. Now let me get another undefeated guy in my resume. And like I said, what are people going to say? Why? How does he just keep winning? What is he doing that we're not doing? I want people to come and ask me those questions.
What about Hamzat's fight? That maybe reminds me, Hamzat's fighting Whitaker soon. What's your predictions on that? Who you got?
Man, I got Hamzat in that. I think, especially the way that he handled Usman that first round, it just showed you how good he is with his wrestling and his grappling, and how strong he is. And I know people say that he usually gasses after the first round, but Usman's a beast. Usman's tough. I don't even care if people say that it was a 2-week fight. He's still a former champion. He's still really good. I just think that Hamzat's style is going to be too much for Whitaker, because we've seen Whitaker get out-grappled by Duplessis and taken down and controlled in the first round by Duplessis. And I think Hamzat, who is tough on the feet, but I think if he gets him down, he'll be too much for him.
Have you been to that area of the world? That's like one of my my dream streams would be to go to Dagestan, and I've trained with Mavsar Ivloev before, and he's from Ingushetia. Hamzat is from what's the area that he's from again? I forget the name.
Is he from Chechnya?
Yeah, from Chechnya. Have you been to that area of the world, like the Caucasus Mountains?
No, I mean, Habib was actually wanted to bring me out there for this camp. But then we were looking at the time zones and stuff, and it was like, the fight's going to be on American time zone. So I need to stay on American time. I think the Dagestan time zone was 2 hours difference from London time zone. So, yeah, I think after this camp, for sure, I'm going to go out there and train with them and just get that feel. Because I talked to a bunch of guys that have gone, and Will Harris tells me it's a different level out there. And just to be able to, like, be immersed into all of that, right? Like I said, just the spirituality, the brotherhood, everything over there, and then being by them guys, it's going to be another level.
It seems like a whole way of life. Like it's almost like they take MMA so seriously. It almost is a religion supplementary, obviously beneath Islam. It's like it's like another religion. What do you think is the biggest lesson or something that you've learned training with those guys that you could communicate to other Americans? Because I think people often forget, like when you hear the way that Strickland talks about you or the perception you have, it's like people forget, like you're from Chicago. You're not from Palestine. You're an American, but being with those people who are from, like, it's almost like a different planet, the way that they operate out there. What's a lesson that you learned that you could share with other Americans?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, like, I've learned from those guys is, like, there's no secret sauce. It's literally just hard work. It's discipline, and it's waking up every day with the mindset. I think they all have the mindset, Habib and all them guys, with every round they want to win every single practice round. They want to win every single exchange that we have. Like I said, when you get comfortable with the guys in your gym, you're training with the guys in your gym, you have those rounds where you're just like, you want to play around, or those days that you go to the gym and you don't feel like working out, and your partner sees it and he lets you take off. Like, those guys, they hold everybody accountable, and there's no days off. There's no rounds off. Like, you're going to lose this round, you're going to get beat up for that whole round. It's not like, he's tired today, let me go softer on him. Nope. They're going to go harder on you. They're going to make you push yourself. And they all have that stronger mentality, I think, that a lot of these guys nowadays don't have. Like I said, people in America don't know how, easy we have it, right? Just, you have to be more grateful every single day for the life that you have, because you can wake up every day to have whatever you want to eat. You can wake up every day to have heat, cold water, hot water. And I think that, we're kind of coddled in that sense, where we're like, we just don't appreciate the little things, and we complain about the stupid things, right? Traffic is terrible today. Oh man, why is it so hot today, man? I'm so this or that or this or that. And we complain about dumb stuff. But I think it just, my mind opens up to, like, just shut up. Like, you're blessed. Every day that you have on this earth, you're blessed. So start appreciating that, and don't take it for granted, and don't take this sport for granted, and this life that God gave you for granted. Because I get to wake up every day and do something that I love every day, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to sit there and take any days off or waste any time, because it is a short window. And I had this platform, and I know that if I lose this fight, there's going to be so many haters and people complaining, and they're going to talk about Palestine and this and that. So I have to win for them. I have to win for myself.
Have you noticed yourself becoming more humbled? Well, one thing that surprised me is saying that you're sparring and you're rolling with some guys that are like 19, 20 nameless fighters, and they're winning, and you got a title fight coming up. So, like, how does your ego come into play there?
I mean, I never had a big ego, right? I never was one of those guys that. I always was one of those guys that, like, if you're beating everybody in the practice room, you're in the wrong room. Like, you should have guys in the practice room that could beat you up, or I should be losing rounds every single day in the gym. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. You're not going to get better. Me being able to go with those guys, I grew so much when I trained for the Sean Brady fight. I grew so much from that, and it just made me that much better. Like, when I first started fighting, it was just me and my high school coach, Lewis Taylor, and he was a fighter too. He's a PFL middleweight champion, but he would kill me every single day. Like, when I first started, he was my teacher, and he was my sparring partner, and he was my grappling partner, and he was everything. It was just us two, and he would just beat the crap out of me. So I learned from the beginning that you're not you're not a king, right? You're at the top of the mountain already. You have to keep climbing every single day. You have to keep growing every single day, and that's what I learned. That's what I told myself as I was getting beat up by these young guys. That, like, I'm still behind. I'm not ahead yet. I'm never going to be ahead of these guys. So I have to keep working twice as hard every single day to catch up.
Yeah, I gotta, listening to this, it's like my discipline definitely needs, like, to get to that level, to get to that title shot. Also, to see, like, how disciplined you were to stay patient after all that time of them, like, pretty much, in my opinion, snubbing you for that.
Whoa, what happened to it, bro?
That title shot, and you finally getting what you deserve. That must have
Rumble, bro.
must have not been easy. I probably would have like
Rumble.
been publicly angry a lot quicker than you.
Yeah, right. But that's what having the right people around you is. Like,
Okay.
my family,
No,
my team, my
fix.
coach. I've seen a lot. I've learned a lot from him, because
It's
he never got a
fixed, bro.
shot in the UFC, and he was like on a 10-fight winning streak at one point with, like, all first round finishes, and he was getting to the point where he was like 40 years old and he was about to retire, and he was like, I'm never going to get my shot. I'm never going to get my shot. But we just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then eventually PFL gave him a spot in the tournament, and he won the tournament at 42 years old, and he won $1 million and won his title and retired on top of the world, right? So seeing his story, it tells me that, and he would always bring it up to me, like, it's going to happen at the right time. Be patient. Don't rush. Stop thinking about it. Enjoy the journey right now. Go to these fights, hang with the fans. You're at the top of you're number 2 in the world right now. There's nobody that's going to take that away from you. Dana White gave you his word, and he's a man of his word, so trust his word. That's it. Trust his word, trust God, and just be patient. So I literally had it on my phone screen the whole time. Be patient, be patient. So I was just telling myself every day, be patient, reading it,
Yeah,
having it
patient.
implanted in me. And then when it happened, it was like a huge relief. It was like a weight off your shoulders, because I was getting asked that question every single day. Well, when is the fight, Kevin?
Yeah.
My mom, when is the fight happening? Like, my brothers, my sister, like, when is the fight? You're going to do this. What's it going to, like, let me call to your manager. Let me talk to this guy. And I'm like, chill, relax, stop. Like I said, trying to just live in the moment every day is hard when you look thinking about the future, right? Because I want to be the champion so bad, and it took me so long to get here. And I was like, once it finally happened, it's like, all right, now we got it, but the job's not done. Now we got to win the fight. People are giving me congrats to get in the fight, but it's like, I got to win the
Like,
fight. I don't care about getting the fight. I got to win the fight.
I think I did congratulate you for getting the title shot. That's fine. I didn't know that your background was be patient. That must have been like your phone back. Does it still say that?
Yeah.
I was thinking that like the level of discipline is incredible. Where do you think you could attribute that to? And also, the last time I think I saw you in person was at UFC 298. It was right before, I think the day before Ramadan, and then right after that I flew to Saudi, and I spent that whole month dedicating my life and like the concept to Islam. How was your Ramadan?
It was amazing. Being able to, like I said, where it was full focus. I didn't have a camp during it. And that was like a blessing in disguise, where people are like, are you going to fight 300? And it was like telling myself, maybe God made it not happen so I could enjoy Ramadan for the first time without a camp or having to worry about any other things. It was like full dedication, because Ramadan is the best time of the year. Like, you learn so much about yourself, and you just feel so like a huge cleansing after it's done, that it was like I've had to do like multiple camps during it, and it's way different because you can't enjoy it, because you're always sitting there thinking about the fight, and then you have to diet when it's time to eat, then you have to do this, and you have to train while you're fasted, and it's one of the hardest things in the world to do. So be able to just enjoy this Ramadan was like one of my first times in a while that I was able to enjoy it. So it was a blessing.
Did you train?
Yeah, I trained during it, but like when I'm in camp, it's a different type of training. So I got to go harder. But now this time it's like, now I'll take rounds off, and I won't go as hard, and I'll just do one session instead of 2 sessions.
Yeah, now you're doing 3 a day, but during Ramadan, so what's the schedule like? That was like the hardest thing for me to balance. Before then, I was training every day. Ramadan hit, it's like, I drink a lot of water. I get really sweaty, so I had to schedule like right before iftar, try to like, and then immediately shower, and then feast after. What does your schedule look like?
Yeah, like if I don't have a fight, then I'm training just one time in the morning at 10:30 a.m. So I train at 10:30, and then probably after like the 3rd day, my body gets used to not having water or having food. And then at night, once I break my fast and everything, then after I eat and drink it, I have to put the right electrolytes in me. But then I'll go like on a jog or hit weights or something at night on random days. But like, you cut off sparring during Ramadan. You don't want to get hit in the head when you're dehydrated, so you don't want to get any concussions. But a lot of my stuff is just more drilling and just working the fundamentals of the sport and just getting better in areas where I could grow in.
Yeah, I can't imagine like training at 10:30 and then just not having water all day. That's insanity to me. But
yeah, your body just gets used to it. Like, your body starts realizing it. And like, even with the Gilbert Burns fight, last year they called me, and it was like the last 2 weeks of Ramadan, and it was like I had to like snap right into it. And like, my body, I feel like you don't realize how strong your body is until your mind pushes it there. because your mind is stronger than your body. People will quit on you. You'll quit in your mind before your body will quit on you, right? So you can push yourself even when you tell yourself you're going to go on like a 2-mile jog. You can probably go 4 miles if you told yourself that beforehand. If I tell myself I'm not going to drink or eat in the morning, I know I can push myself to that level.
Well, thanks for coming on. I think this was a good example of discipline and staying patient. And obviously, I would love to show up. Maybe I'll try to make it out there. And when's the fight? July? It's in July?
July 27th. Yeah.
July 27th in Manchester.
For sure, bro. Yeah, come down and hit up Chicago. You say you've never been here. We'll get some training in.
Yeah, I would love to go to Chicago. But I don't know how, like, obviously
go.
you're probably extremely busy. This is the final coming weeks before the title shot.
Yeah. No, yeah, 100%. Yeah, like after the fight, you'll come down here. We'll get some real training in. We'll go downtown. We'll chill out a little bit.
I would love to do it. And also, yeah, I'll try to make it out to Manchester if possible. And seeing one of our brothers become a champion like that would be a great pleasure. Thanks for coming on. I highly appreciate you. Best of luck. And may Allah bless you, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, brother. Inshallah, see you soon, bro.
All right. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum, brother.
Belal Muhammad, bro. Let's go.
Let's go. That was the full podcast between SNEAKO and Belal, bro.
So many.
Okay. If you want to subscribe this channel, then do it, because I'm gonna upload lots of SNEAKO's content on here with my reaction, because without my reaction I can't upload that video. And yeah, one of my video, that was the fight between SNEAKO and I don't know who was that. I don't know. That was the one of MMA for some champion's son fight fought with SNEAKO. I uploaded it and I got 300k views on YouTube, but that video got removed. But that video was without my reaction. I uploaded, and that's why. So yeah, I'm gonna upload video like this. So stay tuned. You will enjoy. Okay, goodbye.